Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. NFL is back. Draftkings has finally posted basically all of their games in their lobby, and they have an absolutely brand new game type that I love. It's my favorite way to play season long. So season long fantasy now finally on Draftkings in the form of best ball league. So we're going to do this lobby tour. I'm going to walk you through the tournaments that they have, and I didn't add them all up for week 1 NFL. For just the main slate on Sunday. But it does appear that there's like 12 or $13 million worth of tournament guarantees out there at various price points, at various multi-entry points, single entry, 3 max, 20 max, and the mass multi-entry up to 150. We're going to walk through all of it with you. I appreciate you guys coming back video after video. If this is your first video that you're watching for this NFL season, now that sites are starting to come back up with sports kicking back up after the pandemic response where everything got canceled or everything got postponed. We're finally back in business. So welcome back to the channel. Please drop a like on the video. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you ring that notifications bell. I come out with a ton of content. I'm glad that you found your way here, and I'd love to see you again. Why don't y'all leave me a comment in the replies down below. Let me know what game is your favorite game to play every Sunday on main NFL slates on DraftKings. Do you like to play the Millionaire Maker? Are you somebody who just, I'm here for entertainment's sake? Are you somebody who's looking for the best edge in terms of the rake involved? Or do you stick to 3 max or single entry games? Do you play 50-50s only or head to heads? Let me know in the comments down below which are your favorite games. And let's get right to this lobby breakdown. Right up top, there are 2 Millionaire Makers in week 1. There's a $2.5 million $100 entry fee, 150 max. I'm going to say straight up, I'm probably not going to enter this thing. Outside of the way that the way that I build lineups. I've talked about this a lot in the past. The way that I make lineups is I build a cash game lineup. Then I build a tournament pivot, like a leagues lineup, which is a little bit more correlated, which is to say that I am more focused on stacking a quarterback with 1 or 2 of his pass catchers and having 1 player on the other team in case that game shoots out. So I build a lineup like that and then try to get best in slot values with the rest of that lineup. And then my third lineup, I'm building specifically for large field tournaments. So I build my 3 lineups by hand. And then I'll use a lineup builder to build the other 147 with the allocations and weights and groups and combinations that I'm looking for to try and exploit the ownership levels of certain players that I'm higher on or lower on. So at most, I'm only going to enter 3 in this. And I may sit this tournament out entirely because $1 million, 40% of the prize pool coming out for 1 person is a lot. But to me, it might be an anti-chip. That's the way I look at the Millionaire Maker throughout the years, is that if I'm going to spend all this time and I'm going to put all this money out, I've always looked at the Millionaire Maker as something like, and I'm not trying to, I have to use a gambling reference because like whatever, but like if you've ever been to Vegas and you've played Caribbean Stud, you don't want to be the guy that has the royal flush, but you didn't put that little anti-chip in the pocket. So, you get like 25-1 on your little bet. Hey, I made some money, as opposed to winning the progressive jackpot up top for like $750,000. So for me, I view this as an anti-chip. I'm debating, and I've got 5 weeks to come to a decision whether or not I'm going to enter that one. I will be entering 150 lineups in the $5 million Millionaire Maker, 20% of the prize pool to first. A little bit better payout there. We can look at the payouts right here. $1 million and a Tournament of Champions entry, 200K to second, 100K to third. My preferred payout, and this doesn't have it. My preferred payout, and I don't care if it's not there because the Millionaire Maker is there not to grind bankroll. The Millionaire Maker is there to give you a shot at winning $1 million. Like I said, it's the anti-chip tournament. The key for me is to have 10% of the prize pool go to first place and 10% of first place go to 10th place and pay out 18% of the prize pool. But that's never going to happen, especially in week 1, because week 1 is all about promotion. I understand that. I want you guys to understand that. For these sites, it's about capturing new customers, getting them in there, paying out a larger chunk. These tournaments can pay out up to 25% of the people that are entered in the tournament. So you've got a much longer payout arc, and there's a lot of money up top. Like I said, 40% of this first one and 20% of this one going to first place. I understand that. I just want you to understand, or at least understand how I'm looking at it. They do have the Thursday Millionaire up if you like playing Showdown. One person will probably not take this down. It's going to be split multiple ways. There's a lot of ways to play this game, with Houston going up against Kansas City. There will be more tournaments on that slate. Everything is just register only right now. There are no salaries up as I am recording this on August the 5th. So if you want to check out a first look lineup, I do have a FanDuel first look lineup that's up. You guys can click the link up there for the tag or for the card that's going to come out on YouTube, and go check that lineup out if you want to take a way too early first look. I will be having a way too early first look on Draftkings that I'll be recording live on twitch.tv/al_smizzle. If you want to come check me out live on stream, I stream during football season 6 days a week. Off season right now, especially with COVID-19 and the kids being home and everything else, my stream schedule is a little bit wonky. I'm trying to get 2, possibly 3 days a week during the preseason. That's it for that. Getting back to the regular scheduled games here in week 1, the power sweep, the 150, and this is a 3 max if you're a higher stakes player for $150 entry fee. The power sweep also 200K tournament. They've put 2 up already, another 3 max. This one's 50K to first. Some single entry tournaments down here. The single entry massive double ups are where I think that if you're a beginning player, you should be sticking to, and not the double ups that have mass multi-entry, where you're going to run into trains from players who are just trying to maximize the amount of money that they can get into a game. A lot of people I know are already going to ask me about this this overlay that I have here. It's a Chrome app. You can search for the rotogrinders Chrome extension. It will show you what the margin is, the rake, right? That's the service charge that the site charges you to enter the game. That's how sites make money. And this is how much overlay there is. This will update as people enter. So right now, overlay is defined as how much of the prize pools, because once they put up this G, means guaranteed prize pool. If you mouse over and just hover over any of these things, it'll tell you what it is. The M tells you it's multi-entry. This is a 10 max tournament. The G tells you it's a guaranteed tournament. The site is on the hook to pay out $1 million in prizes for this $1 million luxury box, and every tournament that has this G attached to it. They are locked in and must pay that out to however many people enter. Now, if out of the 353 people that they have for this tournament, and it's a $3,000 tournament, so you want to figure out where the over or where the rake starts, it's 1 million divided by 3,000. And then everything over that is money that the site will make for the fee that they charge to post and run the tournament. Anything under $1 million in entry fees, the site is on the hook to pay. So if they get 900,000 in entry fees, right? If they get, what's that, 300 people, then they would be on the hook to pay out $1 million. So there would be 100,000 in overlay. This number will change as we get closer. We are 5 weeks before the regular season starts, so everything says massive overlay. Pay attention to overlay like between 15 and 30 minutes before lock, and you'll have a better idea of the things that would actually overlay and which ones won't as they pace towards lock. Obviously, if there's overlay, that's better for the players. Higher percent of the player pool will get paid out because there's less runners in the race. And there's inherent value in any tournament, especially a double up. If a double up fills to 75%, a double up is supposed to pay 50% of the people, right? So let's find these double ups. This massive $5 double up has 22,900 entrants possible before it fills. It's a $5 double up with 100K in the pot. So 20,000 is the point, or 20,001 is the point where they start raking. It's the point where they start making money off of every additional entry that comes in. It pays the top 10,000. So 12,900 people are not going to finish in the money. Let's say this fills to 75,000 in entry fees. So now instead of having to beat 12,900 people to get into the money, you only have to beat 7,500 people to get into the money. So instead of paying out the top 45% or whatever, 40%, it's going to pay out the top 60%. So as there's overlay, especially in double ups, 50-50s, and triple ups, that's where you want to chase, especially right as it gets near lock. You want to enter your cash game lineup, and as many of those is going to have overlay. And obviously in tournaments, they only pay out 18 to 25% of the field. You do have a better chance of cashing. Most of the overlay will go to the person that finishes first, but anytime there's overlay, that's value for the player. So you want to go after that. Single entry tournaments, the $200K red zone for $50. Some higher price tournaments, the Game Changer for $1,500, the Thunderdome single entry 777, 3 entry max, and then getting down to some of the cheaper ones. We have this another massive double up for $5, $25 double up. You can always sort by everything over here, right? So 50-50s and double ups have head-to-heads tournaments, and we can sort by dollar level, by entry fee. So if you want the lower stake stuff, 20 entry max, 500K play action, always a good tournament. It is a 20 max tournament. You can throw 20 lineups in this one, or if you're only going to make 2 or 3, you know that there aren't going to be a lot of people throwing 150 like you would see in the Millionaire Maker. So it's more entry capped. The $3 50K pylon, if you want a single entry tournament where everybody only enters one time, or the 3 max 30K tournament here for $3. The tournament that's been the best in terms of my opinion, in terms of the payout arc, has always been the slant. This is the one with the prize, the payout that I've been talking about before. This pays out.
He's a legend.
Try Jello, thank you for the 35 months. Jesus Christ, dude. With a tier 2 sub, appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. $300,000 prize pool, 30K to first. So there's that 10% of first place that I was talking about. 3,000 to 10th place. There's that 10% of first going to 10th. So if you finish near the top, that gives you a better chance of making some serious money, as opposed to basically 30 or 40% of the money going to the guy that just finishes in first. There's a min cash of 2x your buy-in. So if you come in and you bubble, or not bubble, you burst the bubble, you get right into the money, the min cash, or you coming in what? I can't see. 8,000th place, you double your entry fee there, and it's going to pay out 20.5% of the prize pool. As I said, week 1 they tend to pay out deeper, but this tournament, the slant, is one of the best tournaments every single week if you're a casual player, but it is a 150 max tournament, so know that you're going to be running up against people that have a lot of entries. I'm always looking for the tournaments on DraftKings that have that 10% of the prize pool to first, 10% to second, or 10% of first to 10th, and double your entry fee. I think that is a great payout arc as it goes, but I'm not against the Millionaire Maker payout arcs as well. I mentioned before that DraftKings has added a new game style. So if you click over here on game style, go down to best ball right here. If you want to play season long in draft on DraftKings, you can now draft and play best ball. For those of you who don't know what best ball is, I've done a couple of best ball drafts in the past. I've done one a couple weeks ago. There's a video for it. I'll throw a card up there for you on Underdog Fantasy, where you're drafting a large team. Best ball teams are no transaction leagues, meaning you do not have to set a lineup. There is no waiver wire. There are no trades. You don't have to set a lineup every week, which is to say, if you've ever heard of a best ball golf tournament, like usually like a charity tournament or something is a best ball tournament, you put 4 people in a group. Whoever hits the furthest drive that's in the fairway, all 4 people hit their second shot from around that spot. Best ball has that philosophy, but for fantasy football. If you draft 3 quarterbacks, quarterback A has 25 points in week 1, quarterback B has 22 points in week 1, quarterback C has 14 points in week 1. The system will start at the end of the week, whoever has the most points that week. You get your best possible lineup from the overall tournament team or one-off team, they call them sit and goes on DraftKings, that you put together. You will start basically the same lineup that you start on DraftKings. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. There is no defense. There are no kickers. As you build these lineups, it will play your best team. So they can end up being a war of attrition. Meaning that if you draft 3 running backs only, right? You're not going to draft a very deep bench, and 2 of those running backs get hurt and they're out for the season. You're going to be missing a spot at running back for the entire season, every single week. So your typical lineup on DraftKings, which is a 20-round draft, is probably going to look something like 3 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends, 6 running backs, and 8 wide receivers, somewhere around there, right? And you can go up or down or whatever, but I'd probably recommend staying close to those numbers, as, you know, players are going to be missing 2 to 3 weeks based on COVID from time to time. You're going to need depth at these positions. Spread out your bye weeks. You don't want to have 5 wide receivers with the same bye week. But best ball is my preferred way to play season-long fantasy at this point, because of all the content that I put out and the amount of money that I'm playing every weekend on DraftKings and FanDuel. I don't have time. It's opportunity cost, right? I don't have the time to spend on Sunday morning babysitting a lineup that maybe I'm going to win $800, 16 weeks down the road, when I'm trying to win $1 million right then that Sunday. So for me, best ball is my preferred way to play fantasy football. I get all the fun of doing drafts. They have fast drafts and slow drafts. The fast drafts have a clock of like 30 seconds. They take about an hour to do a fast draft. And the slow drafts, it's an 8-hour clock. So you can draft kind of at your leisure. The drafts take about a week to finish if you're doing them that way, depending on how much clock people are bleeding. But this is an app-only product, so you have to download the DraftKings app. You have to get the latest update. If you already have the app, make sure you go into your app store, get the latest update, or if you're on an Android phone, make sure that you get the latest update so you can play best ball as well. They have multiple tournaments, a $20 tournament for $3 million up top. They had a splash page. Check out promotions. Of course, I can't find it now. Best ball page there. So here it is. There's their interface. It's all right. I'm gonna have to get used to their interface, actually, because I've been drafting on other apps for the last few years, the draft app previously, and now I'm the majority of my drafting I'm doing on the Underdog fantasy app. I like the interface a little bit better. It's cleaner. The UI is a little bit better on Underdog in terms, my opinion. Yours may, your mileage may vary. I think the DraftKings one is fine. I'm doing my first draft over there. I'm involved in a slow draft that I just started last night. Full PPR, full DraftKings scoring. They did have one thing that popped up as soon as I entered one of the tournaments that said you had to either change the list, right? You have to change the rankings. You have to physically make one pick. And there's something else where basically they're trying to keep it from people just mass entering and having list drafts or bot drafts. They will just disqualify those entries. So you know that people aren't just going to be spamming. Did I say 8-hour clock on the slow mode? I believe it is an 8-hour clock. Yes, right here. Draft your lineup from the available pool of NFL players. Fast drafts gives you 30 seconds to pick. So slot out an hour, and it's going to take you an hour to do a 20-round draft. Or a slow draft, if you can't be at a computer but you want to do drafts, you can do 3, 5, 10 drafts at one time with an 8-hour clock and never feel like you're like under pressure. And the app will send you an update anytime it's your pick. And they have multiple different tournaments. Like I said, you can do a sit and go, which is a 16-week regular season. At the end of week 16, whoever has the most points wins. And there's a payout arc. I think it pays the top 3 teams. So you can get into that. They have 12-team leagues, 3-team leagues, 6-team leagues. There are tournaments. Round 1, or the regular season, is weeks 1 to 13. You have to win your league or finish top 2 depending on the buy-in. Round 2, which is the first playoff week, is week 14. Round 3 is week 15. Round 4 is week 16. And then the different tournaments that they have. Obviously, the big one that they have is a $3 million guaranteed, $1 million first prize, $20 entry with 150 max. You can draft 150 teams. I rarely get over like 50 best ball draft teams. It's a lot of work to get to 150. It's basically you got to be running 5-10 slow drafts at a time, and that's just not what I want to do. But I enjoy drafting. I do like 50-60 drafts a year, so I draft a lot, but 150 is a lot. 150 is way a lot. $3 entry fee if you're interested in a little lower stakes. They do have a tournament for that. 50K top prize there. 550K in the prize pool. If you're a high roller, they have a 333 and a 1K entry with 250K up top for the 333 and 100K up top in the 1K. So you get in where you fit in. And there's a lot of different ways you can play. I'm really excited that NFL is here. Thank you guys for being here once again. I appreciate you dropping a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure you ring the notifications bell. And if you have some time, go check out another video. Bye.
He's a legend.